Have you ever thought about putting an iron shaft in your hybrid? Well, today we're going to find out what happens. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So this video, pretty straightforward. I've got this Mizuno hybrid with the stock UST Lin-Q hybrid shaft, 76 grams stiff flex. And in this hand, I've got a Fujikura Axiom long iron shaft in 105 grams stiff flex. We're going to find out what happens and maybe what you might see happen if you switch out your traditional hybrid shaft for a graphite iron shaft. Now you may be thinking, why are we doing this? Well, quite honestly, why not? There's nothing that says you can't put an iron shaft into a hybrid. I mean, a hybrid is basically an iron replacement club, so why not put an iron shaft in it? Specifically, I'm thinking it just makes sense in order to try and keep consistency in your weight progression. Maybe you have a certain shaft that you really like in your irons, and why not run it either directly into the hybrid as well, or maybe just sort of take that shaft in the 10-gram lighter version, let's say, and put that in your hybrid. So that's kind of what we're doing here, because for me at least, I've got 120-gram shafts in my irons. So to go from 120 grams all the way down to 75 grams in that hybrid shaft, it's a pretty huge jump. I think it makes a lot more sense to go from something like 120 grams down into 105 grams. That's a much more gradual progression. So we're going to find out what happens. We're going to hit some balls with the stock configuration, and then we're going to hit some balls with the Axiom 105 stiff. Just kind of see what the ball flight looks like, how it feels, and how it sort of progresses from my long irons into this club. All right, first thing I think makes sense to do is start out with one of my irons in this experiment. So again, 120 gram Project X 6.0 in my irons. This is my 5 iron, so this would be the 5 iron here. I've got the 4 hybrid there, so this is obviously the transition point. So we're gonna hit a few of this first, and then move into that hybrid and see how that goes. It's a pretty good start right there. That one wasn't hit quite as well. Looked more like about 190-yard carry. Left the face just a touch open there, but the distance should be about right, and for a 5 iron, still not a terrible result. 16.6 launch angle, 206-yard carry. So, okay, here's the hybrid. Again, 76 gram graphite shaft here, coming from 120 gram shaft here. Also, just notice, and this club is basically in its completely stock configuration, so I haven't changed anything, but look how much longer this hybrid shaft is, this hybrid club is, versus my 5 iron. This is a 38-inch 5 iron here, but this is a, heck, we'll call that, what is that, 40, probably 40 and a half inches here on this hybrid, so a lot longer with a lot lighter shaft. I always talk about on this channel trying to have continuity, trying to have consistency in your gapping, in the flow of both length and weight and all those things. We'll see what happens, but obviously this definitely has a bit of a jump to it, both in weight and length. Let's hit a few balls with this guy, see what we get. Obviously, when a club gets to be this long, you're going to be swinging it a little more like a wood versus like an iron. So pretty good right there, nice and high. Let's see what the numbers look like on that one. 215 carry, backspin 4100, launch angle 18 degrees. Pretty good efficiency, 99-mile-an-hour club head speed. So you can see right there, that is a perfect example of why you would carry a hybrid in the first place, because my 5-iron was not nearly that high, and this was very easy to hit way up in the air, landed a little bit softer. Distance is basically right where we would want it, 205 with the 5-iron. This 4 hybrid, we would hope to be somewhere 10 yards, 15 yards longer, and that's kind of what we got. And that one I kind of pulled. It's probably going to be pretty long since I tugged it a little bit. Let's see, 223, a little bit longer, pulled it a little bit, launch a little bit lower again, close the face up a little more. Maybe a groove or so low on that one. Might be a little spinnier and a little bit shorter. Yeah, 211, 5500 basically. So yeah, caught it a couple grooves low, so the spin goes up, carry goes down a little bit. So there you go. None of those shots that bad. I will say when I swing this club, it definitely does not feel like an iron. It is more like a wood, and I think a lot of that has to do with the weight. A lot of hybrids, pretty much most hybrids in their stock configuration are going to come with something in this 70, 75 gram weight range, which depending on your iron setup and where the weight is with your irons, may or may not be a great fit for you. Again, if you're in the 115, 120, 130 gram range with your iron shafts, 75 grams might be a little bit light. Now, one thing to be aware of if you're thinking about putting an iron shaft in a hybrid, iron shafts in their raw state, in their raw length, usually do not come quite as long as a hybrid shaft. So in a rare instance where you may need to be or wanting to make a really long hybrid, say you're really tall, something like that, you may or may not have enough real estate to work with an iron shaft versus the hybrid shaft, because the hybrid shafts usually are about 1.5 inches longer, somewhere around that in their raw state. So it gives you a little more room to work with. But for me, basically I play things at standard length, so that's 38 inches on a 5-iron. The stock length on that hybrid was 40.5. This guy is closer to 40, so no problem using the iron shaft here. Let's see what we get now out of this guy. Definitely feels a little heavier just setting up to it. I'm getting a little bit more draw on it so far. So before, when I was swinging this club with the hybrid shaft, I felt like I had to swing it more like a wood, put the ball a little bit further forward in my stance. Honestly, with this club now, with this heavier shaft, plays a little bit stiffer feeling and a little bit shorter, I think I really want to kind of play it more like an iron and set it a little bit more in the middle of my stance. So let's try that and see what happens. Yeah, that's better. Right there. Little cut shot there. I'm still trying to just kind of figure out exactly where the ball position is in this configuration. Kind of moving it around as I go a little bit. Let's try and move it just a touch further forward. All right, let's take a quick look at the numbers. As you can see, pretty much most everything was pretty darn close. Ball speed, launch angle, spin a little bit lower with the 105 Axiom, but not a big difference. Got a few more yards of carry out of the Axiom as well. I will say it looks like my dispersion short and long was a little bit better with the Axiom. However, it was maybe a little better left and right with the 75 gram Lin Q shaft. So a lot of that I feel like is probably just trying to figure out exactly the right ball position, because having it a little bit further forward definitely caused it to go left more with this 105 gram shaft. So again, it's trying to swing this setup, I think, more like an iron and treating it more like an iron, and that would probably straighten that out. I will say, just in overall feel, what I liked more, this 105 gram shaft definitely just feels more solid. It feels in this setup more like an iron, whereas this 75 gram shaft, it feels more like a wood. When you swing it, when you hit the ball, it feels more like a fairway wood with the 75 gram shaft. So I guess it really just comes down to, in the end, what kind of feel and what kind of weight are you looking for. If you like more of that iron feel, and if you have heavier iron shafts, then I would definitely think about a heavier, maybe iron shaft to be put into your hybrid. If you like a lighter shaft, if you like the way that your fairway woods feel, well then the lighter weight 75 gram hybrid shaft may be a good option to just stick with. So hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you go down below, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted when I post new videos, and I will see you on the next one.